Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Recap, WWE Royal Rumble 2021 that took place live last night on pay-per-view and the WWE Network. Obviously, I'm getting old because another recap show. I'm doing the day later, but like I had said yesterday in the prediction show, the fact is, when it comes down to it, if they had gone long, and then based on the fact I went to see the Yokozuna documentary that they had on last night as well, I'd end up doing the show today. So that is what's going on. So I'm live on Twitch right now. And if you're watching live, thank you very much. If you're watching the premiere, thank you very much. And they'll be on YouTube as well as Facebook. And if you're listening to audio, thank you very much again as well. So anyways, guys, it was a great show last night. No complaints at all whatsoever. Very interesting as far as some of the returns went. Interesting to see some of the names that I predicted that obviously didn't show up if you watch the show and listen to my show, but I'll get into it now. So kickoff panel was Charlie Caruso, Jerry Lawler, Booker T, JBL, and Pete Rosenberg. Remember that name, Rosenberg, guys. So 15 minutes in, Rosenberg disappears, and then Sonya Deville is on the panel. Rosenberg, after Sonya Deville, is on the panel for a little bit. She disappears. Rosenberg returns. At 6:30 mark, R-Truth shows up, 24/7 championship, and he's hunting wabbits, as they put it. So comedy spot again with R-Truth on the kickoff, the pre-show there. And then kickoff match officially takes place at 6:34 p.m. Not sure why I put the exact time, but just to let you know, 34 minutes in, and the kickoff match takes place. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. So Asuka and Charlotte Flair as champs, taking on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Final moments of the match, double natural selection, 2 count on Baszler. Rick's music hits, and then Charlotte has a figure 8. Lacey Evans interferes, though. It looks like it might have been a little bit of a botched finish because Charlotte then went to attempt the figure 8 again, and as she's doing it, Lacey ends up nailing Charlotte Flair with the women's right, Nia Jax with the leg drop, and we got new women's tag team champions. So 0 for 1 as far as predictions go, but looks like they're obviously continuing the storyline with Ric Flair and Lacey Evans and then Charlotte Flair as well. But yeah, we got new champs out of this one. So pay-per-view then takes place. They started off with Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Goldberg. Claymore is hit very early on. A back and forth followed by spears before the bell even rang, and the announcers were like, the bell hasn't rung yet. The bell hasn't rung yet. And it reminded me back to when I guess Strowman and Goldberg had gone at it, or it would have been Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. Very quick match, and I thought they're going to go kind of the same direction they did, but a little bit different though, because obviously you had 2 competitors that have never fought each other before. But Goldberg still looks good, not as good as he did WrestleMania, I guess. But he's still looking good for somebody, I believe, in his mid-50s there. But so match officially begins. Claymore is hit 2 count. Goldberg hits 2 spears with a 2 count jackhammer, which was bad. It was a bad jackhammer there for Goldberg. 2 count. Goldberg then missed a spear. McIntyre with the Claymore for the 3 count. Quick match, and then post match was handshake and respect by Goldberg towards Drew McIntyre there. So, it's a good strong showing by Drew McIntyre. I mean, he has beaten guys left and right. Since winning the championship at WrestleMania last year. Obviously, he lost it to Orton, but you think about the fact that he beat Brock Lesnar, beat the Big Show. He's beaten, pretty much anybody who he gets in his way, so to speak. And Goldberg just another one on that list. So the interesting thing is to see The Miz being there on Raw, if he's going to cash in and do it legitimate and set up like, this is when I'm cashing in and this is the match and here's my briefcase, and he's gonna be part of a pay-per-view. Is he going to put himself into a triple threat at WrestleMania? Who knows? But The Miz still has that briefcase. So, with him and Drew McIntyre both being on Monday Night Raw, it's just only a matter of time before something like that happens. Obviously, didn't happen during this match, but a couple pay-per-views and then WrestleMania, of course. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. From there, we go into the second official match of the pay-per-view. That's Sasha Banks defending the championship against Carmella. with Reginald in her corner. Royal Rumble bonus locker room code announced for WWE 2K Battlegrounds. So the actual code itself, all capital letters. If you own WWE 2K Battlegrounds and you're looking for, I think it's 500 golden bucks. It's Royal Rumble bonus, no spaces. So Royal Rumble bonus. Put that into the locker room and you get 500 golden bucks there for WWE 2K Battlegrounds. So Reginald gets booted from ringside. Carmella dived to the outside seconds later. Banks missed a frog splash at one point. Carmella with her finisher. Banks escaped. Banks top rope. Carmella with a super kick for a 2 count. And then Sasha Banks with the Banks statement. And Carmella taps out. So highlights of that match there. So I predicted, I think, Sasha Banks as well. So I think at this point I'm 2-1, which is not too bad there. But a strong showing by Sasha Banks, and I think I know what the direction that they're heading. And I'll get into that just momentarily here. So backstage promo, we have the New Day. We have all 3 of them. And then Sami Zayn gets involved as well. Kofi's there. He's geared up, but he says, unfortunately, he can't be part of the show. So it is Kofi's one of his first misses in a while as far as the Royal Rumble goes. I think it was him and Dolph Ziggler had been tied, and then Kane was on top for the number of Royal Rumble appearances. But unfortunately, like I said, Kofi was there backstage, but unable to perform. Who did perform, however, Bad Bunny was up next, performed with Booker T. Booker T, somebody had mentioned on Twitter, and it was kind of comical about the whole GI Bro gimmick there. So Booker T with the kind of, I guess, the GI Bro gimmick with his current, hairstyle out there with Bad Bunny. So it was short and sweet. I can't really complain. I've seen worse, but still not too sure who Bad Bunny is, but he's a huge follower on social media, I tell you that. And when I asked my daughters, 2 teenage daughters, one didn't know, the other one did. So, and she's on TikTok all the time. So that's an age thing, I guess. So women's Royal Rumble match is up next. We get Tom Phillips, Jerry the King Lawler, and Byron Saxton calling the match. 90-second intervals. So I was watching the match, and I was like, this seems to be going quick. So I had my iPhone in front of me, and I actually timed, and it was like basically 90 seconds. So 90-second intervals for this. So I'm going to go through the entrance, and they'll go through the eliminations, and they'll go through and just talk about some of the highlights that I thought, were big parts of the match. So first entrant was Bayley, followed up by Naomi, returning Naomi. Bianca Belair came out next. Billie Kay comes out, refuses to enter the ring right away, and then she ends up on commentary, which was kind of insane. Shotzi Blackheart comes out with the tank, so that was kind of cool. Shayna Baszler then comes out. Billie Kay attempts to sell her profile pic. Shayna knocks her down. Toni Storm comes out. Billie Kay attempt again. Jillian Hall comes out, and the returning Jillian Hall, who I haven't seen in a while, with that horrible singing theme music that she used to have. Man, it just brought back memories there. Billie Kay attempt at the profile pic again. Hall accepts, and then they enter the ring together. So Billie Kay is now finally in the ring. Ruby Riott comes out next, followed by returning Victoria. Peyton Royce comes out, and then the Iconics share a brief moment in the ring together, followed up by Santana Garrett, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Dana Brooke, Tori Wilson. Ric Flair's music hits, and the announcers kind of go nuts, and all of a sudden it's Lacey Evans who comes out instead. So Lacey Evans now officially in the match. Mickie James, Nikki Cross, Alicia Fox makes a return. R-Truth enters and then fights off WWE superstars while this is taking place. Fox pins him. So Fox pins R-Truth and becomes the new champ mid-Royal Rumble match. Mandy Rose is out next. Dakota Kai, Carmella, Tamina, Lana makes a return. Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Nia Jax, and then 30th entry is Natalya, but she is beat down before entering the ring by Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and then thrown into the ring by Jax. So it's be interesting to see. It's when I say that, I didn't necessarily think about this last night, but just reading that right there, I'm thinking to myself, maybe they're going to set up the Divas of Doom to take on Nia Jax as well as Shayna Baszler for those titles. We didn't see Beth Phoenix tonight. Obviously, she's back. She's doing the NXT thing. But it'd be interesting to see Natalya and Beth Phoenix win those titles against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And you want to talk about, 4 tough women, regardless of what I think of Nia Jax. She is a tough woman, but the fact is going up against Beth Phoenix and Natalya, I think it'd be absolutely cool if they went that route. So eliminations were this. Shotzi Blackheart by Shayna Baszler, Jillian Hall by Billie Kay, Kay by Ruby Riott, Toni Storm by Rhea Ripley, Victoria by Shayna Baszler, Santana Garrett by Rhea Ripley, a lot of the same names of who's tossing people out. Where are we here? Garrett by Ripley, Riot by Bailey, Morgan by Peyton Royce, Dana Brooke by Ripley, Peyton Royce by Flair, Charlotte Flair, that is, Tori by Shayna, Bailey by Bianca, Fox by Rose. And as soon as Alicia Fox is tossed out, Truth is there, pins Fox, and then takes off. So Truth again, 24/7 champion. Then we got Mickie James by Lacey Evans, Dakota Kai by Ripley, Rose by Ripley, Cross by Carmella, Carmella by Naomi. Naomi saved at one point by Bianca hair spots, so Naomi's on her way out. And the next thing you know, she grabs friggin' Bianca's hair and she saves herself. So I guess the Naomi spot of the match there. We got Bliss by Ripley. I think if I remember correctly, Bliss was in the middle of doing a transformation, and Ripley just said, "Screw you, this isn't happening." So, yep, there you go. Ripley eliminating Alexa Bliss. Then we get Evans being eliminated by Shayna Baszler, Ember Moon by Nia Jax, Naomi by Baszler and Jax. So you can see the tag team champions there working together. Then we got Tamina by Baszler and Jax, Baszler by Jax. And then Nia Jax ends up getting eliminated by Lana. So, and then Lana by Natalya by Bianca, Flair by Belair and Ripley, which means it come down to Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, two NXT talents that have grown into WWE superstar names. And Ripley ends up getting eliminated by Bianca Belair, and Belair wins the Women's Royal Rumble match. And it was kind of cool because the fact is, about half an hour before I started doing the show right now, I was on, I think it was Instagram, and it showed Bianca Belair post-match hugging her husband backstage, and it's absolutely insane, just the raw emotion that you saw, and she's bawling in his arms, and everybody's applauding and cheering, and it's a great moment, but she totally broke down after the match, and congrats to her. I mean, she's huge future ahead of her. I mean, if you heard me talk on Weekly, you've heard me talk about Bianca Belair, and that match with Sasha Banks, I think coming up for the WrestleMania 37 there, I think it's going to be huge. I think Sasha's going to end up putting Bianca Belair over. So that's an early prediction there. On the other side of things, you know what? With Charlotte and Asuka not being tag team champions anymore, I'm going to say they're going to go at it. So you're going to see Charlotte versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship for WrestleMania as well. So another prediction there. Backstage promo, we get Bad Bunny, Miz, Morrison, and Booker T. Then we get the shot of the panel again. So Charlie Caruso, Sonya Deville, JBL, and Pete Rosenberg. Remember that I said that name, Pete Rosenberg, earlier on. Our Truth interrupts. Rosenberg with a low blow pins Truth. Pete Rosenberg is the current reigning defending 24/7 champion, and the panel is stunned. Mainly JBL. He's kind of like, well, did that just happen? And anyway, yeah, like I said, Pete Rosenberg's the new WWE 24/7 champion. I looked right before I went on the air here, and it looks like nothing's happened. So they might do a spot on Raw tonight, maybe a backstage segment from last night that they pre-taped, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, like I said, Pete Rosenberg, new 24/7 champion. Then we get into Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Pretty much as JR used to call it, a slobber knocker. So a lot of back and forth. One point, it was like AEW, all of a sudden Roman Reigns with a golf cart nailing Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens sold it like he was a movie star. Final moments of the match, Reigns ends up getting handcuffed to the bottom of the stage, so the steel pillars, so to speak. 9 count, pulls the ref into it to stop the count. So it looks like he almost was kind of stuck legitimately, and the ref had to basically pull an audible, so to speak. And anyways, Reigns, like I said, pulled the ref in to stop the count there. Heyman comes back to assist. New ref starts the count, and then just stops while Heyman rescues Reigns. So like I said, there was that whole big melee of the audibles there. And then in the end, Reigns locks on that guillotine. Owens is done, and Reigns and still champion here. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with regards to WrestleMania. And I'll talk about this after the final match of the night here. So men's Royal Rumble match is obviously what's the final match of the night. We get who's Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Samoa Joe calling the match. And 90-second intervals again. Again, I'm going to go through the entrance, go through the eliminations, and I'll give my thoughts after that. So we have got first entrant as Edge. He was supposed to be number 2, but he comes up number 1 instead, followed up by Randy Orton. Sami Zayn's next. Mustafa Ali gets triple team on Edge. So Edge is basically, the baby face getting, worked on by all 3 heels there. Jeff Hardy, he gets execution on Orton on the announce table. So this plays into everything. So Orton and Edge are outside fighting. Edge hits the execution on Orton on the announce table. Next entrance, Dolph Ziggler, second all time in the Royal Rumble they made note of. As this is taking place, Edge with a steel chair to Orton. Next is Shinsuke Nakamura. So we're talking almost a good solid 5 minutes of them brawling outside. Shinsuke Nakamura is next. Orton's being led to the back by 2 referees. 8th entrance, the returning surprise Carlito. Carlito is in phenomenal shape. I wouldn't be surprised to see him kick around till WrestleMania if he's able to, but he's in phenomenal shape. And you hear that music, and he's just. I mean, obviously he's grown up, but he's still in great shape. And as this is taking place, Carlito's come down to the ring. Orton's still being led to the back. So we're talking how many guys here? We're talking a good probably 4 or 5 guys who have entered, and all this is going on between Edge and Orton. So keep that in mind. Next entrance, Xavier Woods, followed up by Big E, John Morrison, Ricochet, Elias, Damian Priest is number 14, The Miz, Riddle, Daniel Bryan, returning Kane comes out next. He is number 18. King Corbin is 19. Otis, Dominic Mysterio, Bobby Lashley, the Hurricane, Christian. And yes, I said Christian, ENC reunion against Riddle, which was kind of cool. They shared a hug inside the ring, and Edge just looked like he was ready to break down then. But it was cool to see Edge and Christian in the ring together once again. AJ Styles was next. Rey Mysterio was next. Sheamus, Cesaro, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman. So yes, Seth Rollins, number 29, returned to the WWE. So first elimination was Hardy by Ziggler. Second elimination I put in with a star beside it, to asterisk, so to speak, Orton by injury. Keep that in mind as well. Next was Sane by Big E and Xavier. Woods by Ali. Ali by Big E. Carlito by Elias. So Carlito did not last a long time. Elias by Priest. Miz by Priest. Morrison by Priest. Then we get a Bunny appearance. Bad Bunny, not the former Bunny that they used to the gimmick with. So Bunny appearance, he gets up on the top rope, does a Bunny cross body on John Morrison there. So that was kind of cool. Ziggler by Kane, Ricochet by Kane, Team Hell No share a hug, and then Kane choke slams Daniel Bryan. So they're still not getting along. Kane ends up getting eliminated by Damian Priest. That was a cool moment, kind of like the passing of the torch almost. Nakamura by Corbin, Otis by Corbin, Corbin by Dominic, which was surprising. They've been feuding, but it was nice to see Dominic with that elimination there. Dominic then gets eliminated by Lashley, Priest by Lashley. So we know that, Priest could fit in well there on Raw with regards to, Bobby Lashley, depending on what direction they go. He could also fit in on SmackDown as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he shows up tonight or if he shows up on Friday. Hurricane by Lashley and Big E. There was a spot where Hurricane had both guys, does the double choke slam spot. The guys were just kind of looking like, dude, you're never going to do this, dude. And then all of a sudden they eliminate him. Lashley then gets eliminated pretty much by everybody. Big E by Omos. Mysterio by Omos. Omos was not in the match. So Omos was basically lurking around, and he'd see somebody and just kind of drag them over. And, no disqualifications in a Royal Rumble. He didn't get kicked away from ringside, which was weird too. But he played into it. So like I said, he eliminated 2 guys, not even being part of the match. Cesaro then gets eliminated by Braun Strowman, Sheamus by Strowman, Styles by Strowman. So we see almost take off at that point. Daniel Bryan by Seth Rollins, Riddle by Rollins, Strowman by Rollins, Christian by Rollins, Rollins by Edge. And we think, hey, maybe nope, that's it. No music, no celebrations, no announcers doing commentary. Because what happens, Randy Orton comes back, and Edge looks like he's going to get thrown out, tossed out by Randy Orton. But Edge gets the job done, tosses out Orton, and Edge wins your 2021 Men's Royal Rumble there. So it was absolutely kind of cool when you think about it. So Orton was kind of Final Four, but he wasn't. So when you think about Final Four, what was in the ring, you had Edge, Christian, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman. So to put it uniquely, so to speak, to have basically, Braun Strowman in there makes sense. Seth Rollins in there makes sense. But to have Edge and Christian as Final Four in the Royal Rumble, holy crap, in 2021, it was cool enough seeing them both in the ring. It was seeing them, it was great seeing them work together, and that was just, being part of the match itself. But to actually see them be part of the Final Four, which absolutely, cool as well. So definitely 9 out of 10, I gotta say, as far as the Royal Rumble goes, as a whole, as a pay-per-view. But it was, to me, it was absolutely phenomenal. It was a great night last night, and then topped off by, like I said, the documentary on Yokozuna, post Royal Rumble there. And I was telling my wife as I was watching the documentary, because she's not really into wrestling, but she kind of is. She'll put up with it, I guess. But she, I was filling her in about Yokozuna, and the one time I got to see him, and he was tagging with Owen Hart, and for a big man who was supposed to be a monster heel, he couldn't keep a straight face as Owen was making fun of this drunk fan that was at ringside. So that was Yokozuna. That was my story about him. But the match with the Undertaker, the coffin match, the casket match, so to speak, I still remember it like it was yesterday. You had the Head Shrinkers and Bam Bam Bigelow and Jeff Jarrett, and it's to me, it's Yokozuna. It's when you're watching him growing up, it's interesting because of the fact that you see him as a heel, but you don't necessarily, consider him one of your favorites. And then as age takes place and you get older, it's like, this guy was phenomenal, and the legacy that he had, the legendary status that he had. And then when you hear some of the backstories as well, it was absolutely cool. So like I said, the Royal Rumble itself, 9 out of 10, and then you topped off by the Yokozuna documentary there. So guys, if you haven't seen either one of them, go out of your way to watch both. Royal Rumble ended shortly before 11. So at the kickoff show to all the way through, you're looking at a good 5 hours. And then, like I said, the Yokozuna thing premiered yesterday, but it's on WB On Demand. So check that out if you get a chance. So as always, with every recap show, I do match of the night. Match of the night, men's Royal Rumble match. I can't complain. Start to finish. Edge looked exhausted at the very end of it, but from start to finish, the names that were part of it, I mean, there was no John Cena, no CM Punk, no Rock, but the fact is, Edge and Christian, as a Canadian, I loved it. So match of the night, if you're going to watch one match from the Royal Rumble, definitely check that out first. And wrestler of the night, how can you argue with this? How can you argue with Edge? He was number one going in, and he ends up winning the Royal Rumble 11 years to the day. I think WWE.com had said that, back-to-back kind of wins 11 years later. But it's hard to believe he's older than me. I'm 44. He's 46, 47, I want to say, and he's in tremendous shape. And for the way his career ended 10 years ago, I'll listen to what he's doing now. It's to know he's going to be main event in WrestleMania is absolutely phenomenal. So we'll have to see how it plays out on Raw tonight. He is on After the Bell, the podcast coming up this coming Thursday. So if you're a fan of Edge, check that out, and definitely check out Monday Night Raw tonight, guys, because it's the fallout from the Royal Rumble and the lead-in show officially to WrestleMania, which takes place, I believe it's where are we here? I think it's 7 weeks. Could be wrong. 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 9, 10. I think it's 10. 10 weeks from Saturday, this past Saturday, I think it is. Anyways, like I said, I'm getting old. My mathematics is off. My wife's the teacher. I'm just the podcast host here. So anyway, guys, that is it. As always, follow me at Chris Maloney, CWN, Twitter, as well as Instagram, as well as Twitch, as well as Reddit. And how many more times can I say as well as? But if you've listened to this, thank you very much. If you've watched this, thank you very much. And like I said, go out of your way to watch Royal Rumble if you haven't seen it. The Yokozuna documentary as well. And look forward to watching Monday Night Raw tonight. And we'll be back this coming Friday, live, 3 p.m., Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube for CWN Weekly episode number 25. So check that out. And guys, until next week, not next week, until this coming Friday, we'll see everybody again later on. Take care. And like I said, watch Raw tonight and go out of your way to watch the Royal Rumble. All right. Thanks. Take care, guys, and see you all later.